you're 66 and you're not retired yet, and you say, okay, I'm going to retire in 70, and you have this portfolio of, two, three, four, 500,000, $1 million, whatever it may be, the biggest risk that you're worried about, a lot of people, even in retirement, is
Hey everybody, welcome back to Annuity Fundamentals. I am your co-host Kylie Malott, joined with Ryan Anderson, and today we have a very special guest, and we're excited to hear from Jan Buchsbaum. He is with Nassau, and he has some good products that we're going to go over today and get some good information that's going to make you a ton of money. So let's get into it. Jan, thank you so much for joining us. We're excited to have you.
pleasure to be here. Ryan and I know each other for a while, and it's been a tremendous partnership. So thank you for having me.
Actually, yeah,
Absolutely.
I'm really excited to have you here. Now, Jan, he's the Chief Product Officer for Nassau. However, we are not going to get into a lot of the products today. We're going to talk more fundamentally. We're going to talk more about how basically to build your business and some of the things that you need to be doing simultaneously to build a business. Now, you're no newbie to the industry. You got your MBA from Georgetown. You've been with Nassau and other companies for the last 16 years. And I think you are the guy that is actually the one that was in charge of and pretty much developed Nassau's complete suite of products. So their income products, their growth products, their MIGAs, the new accelerator product, which just rocks. You're the guy behind all of that. Is that, I mean, not trying to toot your own horn, but that's you,
Uh,
isn't it?
it takes a village, not just me. We have a tremendous team here, and we've been able to develop some really fantastic products and solutions. Really, I like to think about it solutions, and we can get into some of what that means.
But no, I'm going to pull some other things out here that, Jan, you're really quite an entrepreneur and a businessman. That if I remember, I'm pulling from the conversations we've had at the various events we've been to over the years, but you were in high school and you started a chain of laundromats or dry cleaners or something to that effect, if I remember right.
Something to that effect, yes.
So let's talk business here. I'm new in the industry and I want to get going. What do I need to do to be successful?
A couple things. I think two things I come to mind, like just top of my head, is one, if you want to be successful, focus on the consumer need. Always think about how you're helping the consumer, how you're helping the customer, and focus on them. And that's something that we try to do. And I'll talk to you about kind of the triangle, three different things you want to keep in your mind at the same time. But that is number one. How are you helping people? The fantastic thing about the business that we're in is that we get to do good while doing well. We get to help people with their retirement, either through Medicare, reducing, some of their, helping them save, helping sure their medical coverage is taken care of, also increasing income, making sure their savings are protected and last. So we're able to do a tremendous service to our consumers. And for me, that's one of the most gratifying things of this industry. Like for me personally, it's intellectually stimulating, get to create cool products and things like that. But you can't just be behind the scenes thinking about the most, innovative, wild, crazy thing. You have to bring it down to the consumer. How are you helping the person? And the other thing is get used to hearing no and keep going. As an entrepreneur, when I think back to when I was 16 and 17 and starting my first company and another one when I was 21, is you have to be able to have the persistency to, hear that no and say, that's fine. I'm gonna keep going, go to the next. And also something that we talk a lot about is extreme ownership, especially when you're a small business, you own everything. You have to make sure that you're on top of all of those things. So those are not necessarily annuity related, but more, life business related.
Oh, absolutely. So we got mindset, we got perseverance, and what was that last one?
What do you mean?
Be able to tell you no.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, perseverance. There we go. And I think that absolutely has something to do with annuities because that's every appointment we're in, right? I mean, you go in and you want to have the servant's heart. We've talked about that a lot on the podcast of going in and doing what's right for the client. And it's nice to have products that are easily and readily available for you to do those things. So, yes, you are you going to get no's? Absolutely. That's just the business of sales, and that doesn't matter the industry. You're always going to get a no, but they're just as important as a yes. So just having that perseverance and that mindset of like, listen, I want to help somebody, and I know it's going to be the long game, and having that mindset really helps you uh have some grit, right? You're going to need
That's
some grit
right.
in this industry.
That's right.
All right, so you talked a little bit about your triangle, and the first time you shared this with me, I think we were down in the Florida Keys, and you went over it, and I was like, and it stuck with me. In fact, you told me, I've still got the post-it note right here that you gave me that I was taking notes on when we were talking that night. Can you kind of go over that with me and kind of share in an application how this thing works?
So the way we think about things, the way our team thinks about things is this combination of marketing, like who's the consumer, kind of distribution, how are you getting to the consumer, and then ultimately, like also what is the product and solution.
Mhm.
So they all you have to think about all of those things at the exact same time. So certain consumers, if you think about, maybe electronics, right? Certain consumers, maybe younger consumers, are going to want to, like their demographic is, 18 years old, 20 years old, and they want to buy a phone. They're going to want to purchase that phone online, right? That's a distribution channel, right? And the product obviously needs to be, maybe the phone has to be filled with social media apps or something like that, right? Where, someone my age maybe wants to go to the store, play with a little bit, right? That's a distribution channel. I don't use social media that much. So like that won't be as appealing. Make sure like Yahoo Finance and things like that are loaded up on there. You know what I mean? So the product needs to be able to fit the specific consumer need at the appropriate distribution point. And so we think about that on the annuity side is what does the consumer need? Is it guaranteed income? Is the consumer need? How do we create a product that fits that need? How do we make sure that we're delivering that product appropriately through you, right? Our producers that are able to then deliver that to the consumer at the right place at the right time. So you need to be able to consider the distribution partners that are bringing the product to the consumers, the actual consumers, what they need in how you're thinking about developing the product. And I think if you think about all of those things at the same time, you end up with a much better solution for the consumer. And that's really what we're trying to ultimately do. It's not just about the product, it's making sure that we have a solution that fits the consumer need, and they're better off for it. How's that? Good
Absolutely.
explanation?
No, that was great, and it kind of fits right into what we do at Annuity Fundamentals. I mean, we have an entire two classes dedicated to case design and illustrations. So we okay, what questions do I ask? What information do I need to gather so that I can go back and find products that fit, find solutions that fit, right? And so that case design, what questions? Okay, a lot of it is what's your survive number? What's your survive number in retirement? And then what's your thrive number? What can we get you to? And so once we and gather all of the data, ask the questions that need to be asked, and we absolutely go into okay, now what products are going to find solutions for this? They need income, so where can I find this? They're looking for growth. Here's where they need to be over here in this section. So, I mean, a training goes into that of what questions do I ask, right? How do I do a successful case design so that I'm putting the client up into a position for success, right? To close business. I mean, you're absolutely right. They're not products, they are solutions. Our clients, they know as well as we do that if they have a portfolio of, $500,000, how are we going to make that last for 30 years? So longevity is an issue when it comes to retirement. If we're retiring at 65 and we're saying we're going to live into our 90s, right? If we're healthy, that's a long retirement that we need to solve for. And so we need to find solutions appropriate for that timing. Do they need income? Are they looking for growth? Like whatever the case may be, It's our job on the back end to find that solution. But in order to find that solution, we need to ask the right questions to get into the nitty-gritty and see where we can help.
I'll tell you, there's something that you said that I love just now, Kylie. You said not just survive, but thrive.
Mm.
Mhm.
We are in a position to help people live and enjoy the retirements that they deserve and want. And to me, it's not just about, oh, you should have this because to protect on the negative and the downside. How can we help you elevate your life? How could we have you enjoy more? Not just by taking the worries away, which is a big deal, right? Just
Yeah.
reducing like stress is like the number one thing I think everybody wants, right? But how can we help you enjoy and have fun and things like that? And usually often people think about insurance agents as producers as kind of like limiting the risk side, and that's definitely what we do. But we could also, help you enjoy like through that retirement income, through that, lowering your expenses. We relieve that stress, but also, help you have fun, hopefully.
It's amazing to me. Nassau is one of the companies that I truly love and respect for a whole lot of reasons. And I've been doing business with you guys for about a decade now, and one of my go-to companies. And if we come back to what we talked about earlier, as far as trying to help people live the life they want to do. That as when I sit down as an advisor and as an agent, I say your goal in life is not to accumulate a big pile of money. Your goal in life is to accumulate, it might be to accumulate a pile of money, but to translate that into a lifestyle, to translate that into a lifestyle you can have for the rest of your life. And if we come back to that triangle you were talking about, the distribution, all right, I'm the agent, the agents that are listening to this, they are the distribution channel. And and the marketing piece to that would be, how am I getting into the client's home? Is Medicare my gateway? Is life insurance my gateway? Is final expense my gateway? Is it long-term care? Whatever it might be. It could even be financial services or annuities. But then it comes down to the product. And the product is more of and I liked what Kylie said, it's not the product, it's a solution. I'm trying to solve lifetime income. I'm trying to solve long term care. I'm trying to solve a gap of income for the next 3 or 4 years. And then I've got a pension or another source of income kicking in, Medicare, no, excuse me, Social Security or whatever it might be. And one of the things that we go through and do this is we're looking at this. And that's what I like about the very human approach that I think Nassau does better than a lot of other companies out there, is that what you just said is we're taking the consumer experience is the driving force to it. And you can see that in the way you guys do your marketing, the way you guys are doing your products that roll out. It's very clear they're trying to solve this problem. And I love that about you and your organization.
Yeah, we work very, very hard at that. I would say harder than most.
Yeah.
I was thinking about like in terms of like point of entry, Medicare supplements. So a bunch of years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, we actually entered the Medicare supplement space.
Mm-hmm.
The reason we did that is because there's so much overlap in terms of the consumers that have Medicare supplement, and kind of need the annuity or could benefit many of them from an annuity solution.
Mm-hmm.
It's really tremendous. So, because you can't take Medicare till you're 66, usually those people are, even if they're not in retirement, they're very close to it, 3, 4, 5, 6 years away, maybe 7, at the most. And that's where they want to start either, you could start talking about retirement income, guaranteed retirement income solutions. You could start talking about what type of flexibility you need. You could start thinking about how they might want to take some risk off the table in terms of their portfolio, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that they don't worry about retiring into a down market, right? That's the biggest thing. If you're 66 and you're not retired yet, and you say, okay, I'm going to retire in 70, and you have this portfolio of, 2, 3, 4, 500,000, $1 million, whatever it may be, the biggest risk that you're worried about a lot of people, even in retirement, is what if there's a downturn of 15% of the market the day I want to retire?
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be nice to take that off the table and know that you could do whatever you want? Doesn't mean you have to retire at 69 or 70 or 71, but kind of know that you can, it doesn't matter, you know what I mean? And so try to eliminate some of that, noise. So that's one of the things I think about with, people who are kind of near retirement, and also some people are in it at 66, 67. So, it's probably a good time to talk about both.
Now, I think you can start Medicare at 65, not 66.
I,
All
yeah.
right. So let's just
Depends,
and
right?
just so, yeah, and then we've got Social Security we can go through, and then we got full retirement, all that other stuff. But I believe you can start. So you can start Medicare at 65,
I'm
and
thinking Social Security.
yeah, and that's what I said. And I knew that's the case. I'm like, oh, all right, 65. Let's just go through. And then the little bean counters in the back room was like, all right, they're fine. They can go on now. So Kylie, go on, say what you were going to say. Apologize.
Thank
No,
you.
I appreciate that you were saying NASA's getting into the med sub space. I mean, when I first started, that's where all of my annuities came from, was the med sub. There's absolutely crossover. They're looking for advice on retirement, right? You have a ton of information of accumulation. Let's get ready for retirement. I'm saving this for retirement. And then when they get there and they're like, okay, now what? Right? Okay, I've saved all this money. Now what do I do? How do I keep it safe? You're right. What if there's a downturn in the market my first year and I have no control over that? What do I do? Right? It's our job to go in and say, hey, we're the now what? We can help you with your Medicare and we can help you with your finances. So I think that's great. But I just have one question. You guys keep referring to this triangle. What is in this triangle? So I know distribution is a part of it. So please explain what this triangle is for our listeners.
Marketing,
Marketing,
distribution, product.
products. Okay.
And when we think about marketing, it's not just like the content, it's like the market, the consumer. So it's broader than like kind of just collateral, is at least the way I think about it. But those are the three kind of key components.
So yeah, and now think about it, we're crunched for time here. We know you've got a hard stop in a few minutes, and I'm so grateful you took the time to visit with us. So just to kind of do it as a recap to this, that we've got to be thinking of the marketing, the product, the distribution, and or the market as a whole, as you put it. That if we're talking here, I'm the agent, so I'm the distribution vehicle. Is correct? As far
Yep.
as I'm trying to go through. And then marketing is what's going on in the world out there, or what I am doing to get in front of people. And the solution or the product are the things that Nassau can offer, or other companies, depending on what the client's needs are. And if we are thinking about all those, if I'm only focusing on the market, and I have no idea what the solutions and the products are, that doesn't do me a whole lot of good. If I'm always just focusing on, okay, I'm the guy out there, and I'm the guy that they have to go through, but I'm not marketing and I don't know what my products are. That's great. That's a guy who, gets their insurance license and just kind of sits back and waits for a phone call. Yeah, good luck with that. And go from there. But just in our last moment here, if somebody wants to start working with Nassau, do they need to go through an IMO? Can they contact you guys directly? What's the distribution vehicle for them?
They do need to go through an IMO.
Okay.
Contact your IMO. We're contracted with many, not all.
I say if you've got questions on that, just reach out to Annuity Fundamentals. We work with several different IMOs, all of whom contract with Nassau, and so we can connect you with one that best fits your business model. I think that's a fair statement, wouldn't you, Kylie?
Absolutely. So yeah, thank you guys for joining us. Jan, thank you so much for your time.
Pleasure.
It got quite short today, so hopefully we can have you back on. I know NASA has a ton of good information. So if you're looking for any information from NASA, check out their website. If you're looking for training for annuities, check out us at annuityfundamentals.com and booking a call with me, and we'll go from there. So thank you so much, Jan. We appreciate you for coming on with us and sharing some good information.
You got it. Have a good one. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. See you next time.
Oh man, I wish Jan could have stayed with us a little bit longer, but he did have a fairly tight window we were trying to hit with him. But he's such a good guy, and the company is so amazing that I would just really want people to see the ideas, the thoughts that go into the product development. It's not just what can we make the most money on. It's, hey, we've actually want to help people and improve their lives. And in my experience with Nassau, again, I've shared this in the past, that and I've talked in previous episodes, my son was sick. He got diagnosed with cancer. And I posted on Facebook that my son was sick, and several people from Nassau's leadership reached out and said, hey, we're concerned about your son. They send us a gift box of, get well and we're praying for you kind of a thing. What company does that? I mean, really. And the thing about it is, I did not expect it from them, but I was not surprised when it happened. That's just the kind of people and the attitude that that culture has, and it's just impressive to me.
Well, I mean, you can tell just from what Jan was saying, he wasn't talking products, he was talking solutions. So they do think differently. And I mean, we've had plenty of guests who've been like, annuities have come a long way in the past 30, 40 years. And it's
Mhm.
because of people like him, right? They always want to get better. Their products need to be beefier. They need to solve more issues or solve more problems in retirement. I mean, like he said, there's the survive number and then there's the thrive number. And that's what we're wanting. We want people to live comfortably and happily in retirement, right? So we need to solve some issues with that. Um, so I think just having that mindset and being competitive. I mean, he knows as well as I do and as you do, there are a ton of annuity agent like companies out there, right? There's a ton of
Mhm.
annuity companies who can have products. In order to be a front runner in this industry, you have to be competitive and you have to have great solutions. I mean, they've come out with a new product just this year, the accelerator.
Which is amazing because when we started working with Nassau years ago, and they had, and I think they were under the name Phoenix, or they might have been a different name or something at that point in time, but they there were some mergers and some acquisitions, some things that took place there. They had three products. There was I think, and again, I can't remember how exactly. It was a growth product. There was maybe not that. I think that there was only three products: long-term care. There was a income, might have been growth.
So super
But
basic. I mean, really
yeah, really.
basic.
But now I've got a couple of I've got growth products. We've got MIGAs. We've got that accelerator product. We've got some focus that are on long-term care. And one of the things about Nassau is that family protection product they have, that it is one of the few products that will give you a guarantee of 5 years, regardless of the principal amount of a confinement waiver. Or if some with it, and I can't remember exactly if it's in the home or if it's in facility only. I'd have to go back and look at that. But the thing that I remember about that is most of them, if they've got a confinement waiver or a long-term care waiver of some kind, it's 5 years or until the principal hits zero. With that particular product, it's 5 years guaranteed. And talk about peace of mind. And that's it's not just oh, hey, yeah, we're going to give you a
Yeah.
nod toward potential long-term care. We're going to give you a valuable solution that you can count on in your planning. I mean, that's just, again, the attitude of the company is amazing.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, I've been in so many appointments where they're a young, everyone ages differently. I mean, that's just the truth. I've been in many homes, you've been in many homes where not all 65-year-olds are created equal. So you do have some of the 65-year-olds who are still ready to play. And
Yeah.
that's what they want. And they know, you know what, I'm not always going to be like this. Something could happen. My parents got cancer when they were in their 70s, or my parents died early, or whatever the case may be. So they want to play now. And more often than not, annuities are for later growth, right? They do take some time to bake. I mean, if you're doing increasing income, that increasing comes with time. So their accelerator product is so fitting for people who want to play sooner. Right?
Yeah.
They want more chunk up front. They want to do more. They need to pay off bills or whatever the case may be, right? Everybody's needs are different. But to have some more money up front and then it tapers off a little bit on the back end, but then it continues. Like you're still going to get money, but you can play up front while you're still young. That's so unique. And I think
Yeah.
there's a lot of clients who that really fits for them. Like they have money for later, but they're looking for money for now. And that's a great product. I've really enjoyed writing that one.
Yeah, we did a podcast with Troy Briggs from Nassau a few
Yeah.
months back, and he talked to us about the accelerator. Now, just a couple of things about it. So, and I would strongly recommend if you want to look at more about that, go to Nassau's website. They've got lots of literature. They've got the information there on it, and The thing about it is that that particular product, it's not an increasing income product. It is a fixed product. But what it'll do is it gives you a larger chunk up front. You can choose to delay it for a few years before you start income, or you can take it right now and get more for the next 5 to 7 years or something like that. And then after that, it drops down to a level income for the rest of your
Yeah.
life. In fact, I'm doing one later today. I've got an appointment later today, and I'm using that product. The client is retired. They're 62 years old, 63 years old, excuse me. They're retiring in 2 years. And we're going to put a chunk of money in that. So they're going to have an increased income for the first 4 years. Then that it's going to drop down and it's going to be a level income for the rest of their life. And I am coupling that with another product that has increasing income. So that basically we put a chunk of money into that one. I think I put 100 grand into it, if I remember right. And we're going to let it sit for 2 years. The Nassau product turns on. Then we're going to let this increasing income sit for another 4 years. So from the time they purchase it, they're not starting income for 6 years. And then I've got increasing income. And even if we take the guaranteed numbers on the increasing income product, it's going to just basically give them a wonderful combination of potential income with a guaranteed benefit that they know is never going to go away.
All right, so let's peel at that onion. You have a case today,
Yes.
right? What is their portfolio size?
That particular client's portfolio size is, let me tell you, hold on, I'll tell you exactly. It is just a hair under $400,000, $380,000.
So, as you were talking about multiple different solutions. So, let's have our listeners say, okay, if I have a client with $400,000, is
Mhm.
one annuity appropriate, or what does that look like? You have a couple different solutions going on. So, talk us through that. Talk us through your game plan.
Okay, so with this particular client, is that we're going through here. The client, she's a single lady. She is 63 years old, and her goal, and I'm sorry if I'm looking over here to the side, is she'd like to match her current income. She's making about $52,000 a year. We've got $400,000 in portfolio. Her minimum guaranteed income that she needs to have at retirement is $25,000 a year, or about $2,100 a month, plus or minus. And her desired income, again, is $4,333 a month, or $52,000 a year. 1,000 bucks a week is kind of where she's at. Now, when she retires, she's going to get $2,500 a month in Social Security, which is nice. She also has a $500 a month level pension, meaning there's no cost of living allowance on it. It's going to stay level. Social Security can go up depending on cost of living increases. They've averaged about 2.59% for the last 25 years, 26 years. So I took Nassau. And again, this is, and we put $100,000 into that case, and we're going to let it sit for 2 years. Under current numbers, because again, these things change a little bit, that's going to give her a guarantee of $1,030 a month for 4 years. And so from age 65, 66, 67, 68 for 4 years. Then when she turns 69, or after that 4 year period of time, that income is going to drop down to $576 a month. So it drops by a significant amount there. And the reason I did that is I wanted more money up front. However, with that guaranteed amount, she put 100 grand in. 12, as right at 13 years later, she will have gotten $104,000 out of it. So she would have gotten all of her money back that she put into the annuity within 13, 14 years on this particular case. But she's got guaranteed income for the rest of her life. And if she passes away, well, there's a cash value in that account. Her family, beneficiaries, whoever she identifies, gets it. Then I've coupled that with an Allianz ABC, where she doesn't take income on the Allianz for 6 years from now. So she is turning 69. And if I use the 20-year historic average, so the lower dollar amount, I'm not using the last 10 years, that will give us about 890 bucks a month. So between all of this, so those are the income products. And that's going to take $200,000 of her $400,000 portfolio. I am also looking to put about $80,000 into an Athene Performance Elite. Now, the thing that is an accumulation product. And the idea here is that she's actually planning to, she owns her home outright, and she's planning to sell that in 2 years when she moves. It will give her about $120,000 of liquidity in her portfolio. Plus, she has another 50K in checking. So I didn't include that in this. So we've got plenty of liquidity there. But what that Performance Elite will do is it will give her good growth for the next 10 years outside of the chance of getting market losses. So we've got 80, so it's $120,000 in equities, and it's stocks, bonds, and those types of accounts, or 401ks and IRAs. We have another 40K in cash. So $160,000 of access to funds for whatever it might be. Plus, she's expecting to get another 400K in when she sells her home, that she's planning to move to a warmer climate and just pay cash for a house outright. But what that's going to do is it's going to give her immediately at age 65, I've got a guarantee of just over $52,000. In fact, and then what I can do is I can actually use that Athene Performance Elite. If I'm light on income, I can actually pull a little bit of money from that to kind of absolutely hit that number. And that's going to give her that income for that 52K for the basically from the time she retires. So she's going to be able to retire and have no change in income. How cool is that? And then if I use the historic numbers, projected, not guaranteed, projected, really, really clear, that should get her up well over $60,000 within 10 years.
Keep up with inflation. I mean,
There we
that's
go.
incredible, right? Someone saying, hey, I want to retire and I want to keep my same income without working, and I only have $400,000 to do it. I mean, really,
Yeah.
$400,000, that's 8 years.
Yeah. But think
That's
about,
8 years of
yeah.
having an income of where she's at. Now, with those solutions, you've done 3 products, only taking up 280,000 of her portfolio and
Mhm.
giving her a guaranteed income of 50,000 plus. I
Yeah.
mean, and you're not even using everything. So that's just another example of how annuities do work differently. He's using 3 different types, 3 different companies, but all serving a purpose for this client to live comfortably in retirement, or to hitting her goals. I mean, not very often can you tell somebody you're not going to see a single change. You're going to quit working and you're going to still make the same exact amount of money that you did when you were. That's pretty beautiful.
And then in our conversation with Jan here now, he didn't, when he left, I just, he is such a great guy and a great company to be able to learn about some of these products for. And one of the solutions here, we're using the Allianz, no, excuse me, we're using the Nassau Accelerator there, coupled with the Allianz ABC, coupled with the Athene Performance Elite. 3 very good companies, 3 very, like you said, different products. One of them's a level income product. You get a big chunk up front. The other one's an increasing income product. And then the third one is a growth product. And they've all got different little features and other pieces to it, but we're able to put a case together that would satisfy a client's need. And again, how many of you would love to go through and say, you're going to make the same money, like you pointed out, in retirement as you are now, only you don't have to work anymore? I mean, these things sell themselves. And talk about being able to bless your clients' lives. It's amazing.
Yeah. And
So,
that's just it goes back to perfecting your craft. In order for Ryan to do this case design, he had to have his feet on the ground, right? Okay,
yeah,
what's going on? What are the products? What are the new features coming out? I mean, to solve that longevity, to solve the withdrawal rate risk, right? I mean, a lot of people can say, "Well, I have $400,000. That's going to last me." Well, we all know how quickly we can swipe that credit card, right? So we need to have
yeah,
some guarantees. And that's a beautiful thing about annuities, and why every single time I've written an annuity, I've never felt like, ooh, did I do the right thing? I've
yeah,
guaranteed them safety. I've guaranteed them a lifetime income, right? I haven't. The company has, right? I'm just
yeah,
saying
yeah.
I being the producer, but I mean at the end of the day, we're asset protectors, and we say that all the time over at Annuity Fundamentals because that's who we are to the core. And to leave a house to say, hey, not only are you protected, is your principal protected, but so are your gains. I mean, how that's so it's such a peaceful feeling of being the producer saying, this is what I did and I know there's no risk to it. If they do pass away untimely or early, it's not like that money goes for naught. That money goes to their beneficiary, but we're setting up their life to be fulfilling. And I think that's a beautiful thing.
It is. Well, this has been a great episode, Kylie. Kind of, being able to visit with Jan at the very beginning part of it. And
Yep.
coming back to what we're talking about here, that little triangle that he did for us, that the distribution, and just using that case design that we talked about here, that I was the distribution vehicle, that's the one that how the client accessed the products and the solutions was through me. The marketing piece is that I went through and I got there, she actually came to us through a seminar, and
Mm.
we did a retirement seminar. And the three products from three great companies were able to really go through, diversify our portfolio, take care of her, and we satisfied the income, the growth, and we left a lot of money liquid. So really, all the way across the board, it's a win-win for the client. Now let's just, I'm kind of, I'm going to be pitching that later today. Let's just hope she takes it.
There you go. Well, I mean, you're
So
solving her problems, and that's all we can do, right?
absolutely. Well, hey, thanks so much, Kylie. I look forward to visiting with our next episode. And everybody else, I hope you guys have an amazing day.
Absolutely. See you next time.